Hello, and welcome to the Oregon Files podcast. First, our disclaimer. We are novice podcasters simply for entertainment and knowledge. If we misquote or offend, it was not on purpose to do so. Now, today is going to be a fun day. It's just Elliot and I. And, we're not interviewing somebody, so that's a nice break. And we're back in my attic space, the spare bedroom, the in-law landing spot. Whoever comes into town, this is where they stay.
Passing out for the night.
They pass out for the night here.
Tequila.
We finally got some nice curtains in here. It's a warehouse for any knick-knacky stuff my wife finds. And,
paintings. We got a half Caribbean painted wall here.
We couldn't agree on a theme, so it's half Caribbean and half woodsy forest. There's some beach stuff. Anyways, that's where we're recording.
You're welcome to stay. It's $50 a night.
It's a heck of an Airbnb. Yeah, late in Airbnb. And I'm pretty cheap. Today we're going to talk about court cases.
Yeah.
But first, my co-host, Elliot Bowman.
Yes, thank you, Mark. I feel like we're shaking off the rust a little bit here.
Just a little bit.
It's only been a month or so, but it feels good to get back and laying down an episode here. It's good to talk to you and see you. I know you've been doing a little bit of traveling too.
Spokane, Nashville.
And is that the furthest east you've been?
It's the furthest east I've been.
Furthest east,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you enjoyed your time in Nashville?
I was with really great people. It was a very fancy place that I went to. I'm built like a polar bear, so I don't do the muggy. And that's just what it is. So it's not for me. Now, did I have some good barbecue while I was there? Of course.
Yeah.
And when it hits. You know what I mean? Like when you have something, you're like, this person knows what they're doing.
Right. What kind of barbecue did you dive into?
There was a buffet.
Oh God,
which is dangerous. But it's a buffet in front of like other professionals at my job, so you can't just pick out on it. You're not with like your family, right? You got to do like
yourself,
right? You got to do the courtesy one scoop,
right?
When I could have taken a whole trough. Right. It was like burnt in pieces, that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh!
And you could tell that thing it was slow cooked.
Oh boy,
the barbecue sauce on there just was like it just had it hit everything. And I know for a fact I embarrassed myself a little bit because I like they were having a conversation at the table.
You're
and they're like, Mark, what's your opinion? And I'm like, my mouth's full of meat.
Paying attention, right? Who's talking to me?
Yeah,
it's like the monkeys clapping in your head. You're just eating barbecue.
It was just so good.
There's a lot of cowboys. You see any some good country music in Nashville?
Nashville's got a lot of. I think it's really this. If you don't have a cowboy hat and boots on, you're definitely not fitting in. So that was like half the thing. And it's country music, and it's.
Did you bring home any cowboy attire?
No,
boots, hat,
no.
Nothing.
I just. What's funny is that I traveled all the way there. I didn't buy anything because everything was a little bit on my price range. I did get my wife a coffee cup from Tennessee because that's the thing. But then it was so funny. We went all the way to Roseburg, Oregon, and then we went to the Walmart here, and there was a Nashville T-shirt hanging up at the Walmart here in Roseburg, Oregon. I'm thinking that's pretty funny.
Did you buy it?
I almost did. Just to be
like
funny,
nobody knew. Nobody would have known.
It would have been like a third the price it was in Nashville.
Right.
And no, but I'm good. I got what I needed.
You're able to travel and do that,
right? I
had a good time.
Hey, when you can travel on a company dime,
yeah.
I enjoyed my hotel room a little bit better.
Right.
Right. Now you've had a big change in your life too. Then your eldest, right?
Yes, she's off flying F-16 fighter jets.
That is amazing.
No, she's not doing that. No, she's in basic training in Texas.
Oh,
doing the Air Force. I've been looking at the weather like every day. It looks horrible in Texas. Like I'm not trying to complain about the warm weather coming up here because I'm looking at like Texas weather it's like 90 and like thunderstorm and she's into her second week of 7-week basic training. She graduates middle of June.
Oh, nice. So
we'll be going there middle of June, and just super proud of her for taking that on and really focusing on on kind of next step and chapter in her life and just being driven to do that. I mean,
it's impressive. It's a lot of mental fortitude, I think.
Yeah. I mean, talking to her the first time, she said, I think we talked there for like 5 minutes, and she's very monotone. And Hannah, are you sure you're okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And then I don't think they're drill sergeants in Air Force. I don't remember what they're called, but she was like, the guy's just really mean or something like that. But I think she'll do good. So anyway, yes, some more spring house cleaning here.
Yes.
If you want to get a hold of the show, it's Oregon Files Podcast at yahoo.com. Also, you can do the social media way on the Instagram at Oregon Files Podcast. You can hit me up with a message, and I will be happy to respond if you have ideas for episodes or comments, questions. We love to interact with people that listen to episodes. Even if you listen to on YouTube where Mark puts it, you can leave a comment there. I love to see what people think about the episodes. The last episode we did was our 50th, and it was with Hawkins Healing, Darcy, and Daryl, which I still just think back on how awesome that the whole episode was. And if you listen to that, hope you enjoyed it as much as we got to talking with them. So
got a lot of positive feedback from that episode.
Yeah, me
a lot
too.
of people really, for people who own a business to kind of bare their soul a little bit
Right.
and tell you stuff like that. It was
Right.
really good. Like, you know,
Right.
really respect them and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. It was great to know Darcy in a different light than the first time talking to her, you know, when she had her food truck and restaurant and, you know, totally different things she's doing now. So if you want to listen to that show, you can check it out anywhere you get your podcast. And Mark and I have our website, theoregonfilespodcast.com.
That's right. And you can get a shirt or a hoodie.
Yes, go out to the OregonFilesPodcast.com. There's links to our episodes. There's links to social media. You can even contact us through there. And there's a store out there. We have like a coffee mug, t-shirt, and hoodie. There's actually different color options you can pick from, different sizes.
Whoa.
It ships pretty quick. Go out there. You know, every purchase supports Mark and I, so we can continue paying podcast bills.
Right.
It's a podcast, and hopefully you guys even just check out the website, and we put pictures, dad jokes out there. So.
And we went with a third party for the t-shirt after doing much soul searching and searching out locally.
Yes.
And the best way to do it. So just so you guys know, we're not the ones making your shirt or your hoodie or that kind of stuff. Someone else is doing it and shipping it to you. We're just partnering with a third party. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. If your thing comes in and smells funny, let us know. We'll complain to the company.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Speaking about complaining, we have some court stuff today.
Okay.
Mark's got some serious stuff. I got more stuff on the more lighter and funny side, and some dad jokes and some questions, and we're ready to rock and roll, sir.
I recently just was involved in my first legal anything in my entire life. I lived to be 40 years of my life before I finally was involved in like a court case. So I recently had to do like a small claims on now defunct local handyman renovation person who, not just me, but took a bunch of people's money and absconded. But it was the worst process of doing a small claims thing. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of going to the post office to get the certified mail. There's and I'll tell you right now, and you got to have the sheriff's office. You got to pay them to drop something off, and everyone gets their little nickel and dime the whole way through for a small claim thing, right? But it was $2,500 to me. So I'm like, I kind of want my money back, right?
And the principle of it.
The principle of it, right?
Right.
You know, and it was rude.
It was rude.
It was rude, and I just but. So anyways, it took me almost 90 days to at least get my thing done and a judge to sign off to agree that I needed my money. Then you got to go with the Small Bureaus Contractors Board, and that's a process. I've been with them now. This is just so you know, this has gone on for over a year. Still haven't got the payout. The guy went bankruptcy, but he only did it with his personal stuff. It's a long, drawn out story. Still going through the legal process. Still trying to wait for my payout. Yeah. Don't know what's going to happen, but it was just a nightmare of paperwork and back and forth stuff. So I can only imagine what some of these other people gone through that we're going to cover today, you know, to get that far. These things do not move fast.
Right. Legal system does not work quick, especially when you want it to work fast. It seems like it takes forever.
Here's the funny part is I help people with their taxes, and the government wants their money. If you owe the government money, they want it on. Right. But now if the government owes you, or if there's a court case,
if you're trying to get money, right.
There is no. It's like, we'll get the team, get you. Stop asking.
Right.
Don't call my office.
Did you do this form? No.
I did.
You call this number? No.
Here's my faux pas about this. And this is true. When I was midway through this back in September, I was trying to figure out what was going on with the guy's bankruptcy that who owned the company, and I didn't know who to call because there was no one to check in with. So I called his lawyer, and the audacity of it. The guy goes, who are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm suing your client for money." The guy goes, "You called the guy's lawyer to find out what's going on?" I said, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, you obviously know what's going on." He goes, "I've never had someone call me before to want to know what's going on with one of my clients." He goes, "I can't tell you." He goes, I go, "Oh, okay. Well, what's the case number? Anything I can go look up?" And the guy was so flabbergasted by my audacity to call him. It was
you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do to find out stuff. But all right, the first court case I want to cover out, I got a couple here that I just couldn't pass up. This is the first murder case in the state of Oregon. Okay. And it's got a little bit of a twist. And when I was reading it, I was like, that can't have been. And sure enough, here we go. In 1852, Nimrod O'Kelly. And so let's pause right there. Yes, his name is Nimrod. This guy's name is Nimrod O'Kelly, was convicted of murder in Oregon in the first officially recorded homicide case before the Oregon Supreme Court. At the age of 65, O'Kelly came to Oregon on the Overland Trail in 1845 and staked a 1 square mile land claim in the heart of Willamette Valley, as allowed by Oregon's provisional government in 1848. The U.S. government took possession of Oregon country and subsequently reduced the size of existing land claims to a half square mile for unmarried citizens. O'Kelly contended that he was married and thus entitled to a full square mile. He said his family was in Missouri and would arrive in future migrations, but by 1852, no family had appeared. So you got this guy here doing like, look, no, I'm married back east. Well,
and Oregon didn't become a state till 1859.
Yeah, so this guy is fighting with, locals here.
Postmaster.
Settlers began to encroach on O'Kelly's claim. On May 13th, 1852, he shot and killed Jeremiah Mahoney in a quarrel over boundaries. He was tried in June and found guilty of first-degree homicide despite his pleas of self-defense and defense of property. He was sentenced to be hanged in August. Citizens of several communities signed petitions protesting the sentence.
Really?
Now, here's the reason why.
They protested sentences back then?
So the two guys were fighting. One was, I guess, one was an Irish Protestant and one was Irish Catholic or something like that. So they already didn't agree with each other. And it was more of one was moving into the area. And so when he went to trial, the jury was all against it. It was like all the one, So that was where there was some protests and that kind of stuff. After 2 years of legal maneuvering and delays, the Oregon Supreme Court upheld the original sentence. O'Kelly went to the gallows 3 times. The first execution was postponed by the governor John Pollard Gaines. The second stayed by the Oregon Territory Supreme Court. And the third was canceled by Governor John Wesley Davis, who commuted the sentence to 2 years imprisonment.
Gosh.
Then 74-year-old O'Kelly, without guard, voluntarily reported the Oregon Territory Penitentiary in Portland. So he goes, okay, you're right, I killed someone. As long as I'm just doing 2 years, that's fine. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Now, Governor George Law Curry pardoned O'Kelly in March of 1856.
Well, why are they pardoning him?
They pardoned him in 1856, in March of 1856 for the time served, right? That was in March. In October, his wife and his kids finally arrived.
Oh my gosh. And he's in prison?
He just got out of prison.
Oh, he just got out?
So get this. So he goes through this whole thing where he shoots someone, goes through all these, almost gets hung 3 times, goes to jail.
He's like, I told you, my wife was showing up.
No one believed him. No one believed him.
Would you imagine if I show him and be like,
where's my husband?
Right. And he's like, you wouldn't believe what I've been through.
So get this.
Did you get my...
Did you get any of my letters?
Right. Did you get my Wells Fargo letter?
This poor guy. So he got completely exonerated and they realized, no, it was at that point, it was self-defense and it was his property.
That's crazy.
Now get this, really to wrap it up though, O'Kelly still had to travel on foot and horseback along the Oregon Trail and then by train to the U.S. General Land Office in Washington, D.C. to get it all hashed out.
What?
So he was 65 when the first staked his land claim, 72 when he killed that guy, 74 when he was in prison, and 76 when he back across the continent. He was 79 when he made his 3rd trek across the Oregon Trail to come home.
Yeah, grief, man.
So O'Kelly died in 1864 and his claim was still actually unsettled. Not until 1881 did the federal government fully transfer the full square mile of public land to the private ownership of O'Kelly and his wife, Sarah, who was still alive.
Well, there's at least there's a little happy ending there with at least the wife and kids got.
They finally got.
It was just like an acre of
years.
land that he was trying to claim.
As a half mile, yeah. All that.
How I wonder how back in the day they even like try to claim them.
It must have been good land. It's in Willamette Valley.
How do you even like try to claim you only just put like a shovel on the ground and be like
that was I always wanted it too.
Like stake a post.
Right. Someone's gonna have a map somewhere of what can be taken. You know what I mean? And
it was like a county surveyor back then, was there?
Yeah, it wasn't even a state yet. Now here's the funny part is I love these people are coming in like, oh, that's my land. There's some Native American off the side going technically.
Right.
All right.
It's wild that the wife just shows up.
I love that part. That was a twist I didn't see
coming.
coming.
Where have you been?
Where have you? You're not going to believe the story. That story came from the Oregon Encyclopedia and was by Ronald Lansing. Now, the next one I got is Mueller versus Oregon, 1908. Mueller versus Oregon is this U.S. Supreme Court case in which the court considered whether a state could limit the amount of hours a woman could work while not also limiting the hours of men. In the case, Kurt Mueller owned a laundry business. On September 4th, 1905, he required a female employee to work more than her 10 hours in a single day. This conflicted with an Oregon law that allowed for a maximum of 10-hour workdays for women who worked in mechanical establishments, factories, and laundries. At the time, Mueller was convicted for violating the laws and fined $10. But
$10?
$10. Back then, 1908, that
What
might
was
have been
$10 to like
right,
$1,000?
who knows? Mueller,
Right.
but here's the funny part. Mueller appealed to the Oregon Supreme Court, who affirmed the decision. The Supreme Court heard the case and considered whether the Oregon law violated the due process clause in 14th Amendment. The funny part was the court said that this was kind of the decision why they went against Mueller, is that you wouldn't think it was for the right ways. The court said that there are indifferent differences between the sexes, pointing to a woman's physical structure and the performance of maternal functions, as well as a woman's societal role. So they decided that, like,
They just made a bunch of stuff up.
So they just fought it. Now, here's the best part: is the decision in Mueller versus Oregon resulted in other state laws related to wages, work hours, and work conditions. However, the decision was overturned in 1923 case of Adkins versus Children's Hospital.
Oh gosh,
Adkins versus Children's Hospital overturned. How a woman. Anyways,
I don't even want to know what that one is.
I went to go down that rabbit hole. And
I was like,
too many pages.
no.
I'm like, I was getting depressed.
All right.
So next
Anything
one,
suing a children's hospital? Who the heck is
over
suing a
work
children's
hours.
hospital?
That was from Cornell.edu.
That's
That one,
ridiculous.
the Mueller versus Oregon. That's pretty good. Okay, ACLU in Oregon. This is from their website. This is called Oregon versus Gonzalez, 2006, and we know about this one because this one's actually ties to some movies. The ACLU hailed the U.S. Supreme Court's 6-3 ruling respecting the right of mentally competent, terminally ill persons to make end-of-life decisions in consultation with their doctors, and rejecting the federal government's misguided effort to interfere with those decisions. So remember this one, this was like, you can come to Oregon to be, doctor assisted deaths, because if you have a terminal disease and you're done, you don't want to wait it out and suffer.
Right.
Oregon was the first and only state for a while there that allowed that to happen. But before then, there was a big court case, Gonzalez versus Oregon, that had to decide that. And it took a long time for the back and forth to make that a legal thing. Yeah, it's called the Death with Dignity Act,
Right.
is what came out of that. Next one I have is Leland versus Oregon. This is in 1952.
I always expect the ones from like...
Oh, the more older it is, the more crazy it's going to be.
I'm just waiting for like just the oddballs. Yeah.
Oh, I got oddball one coming up.
The older ones, I don't know why I always expect it to be just strange. But
I say the best two for last. Well, actually, the best one for last is coming up. We'll do Leland versus Oregon first. This is 1952. This is a United States Supreme Court case in which the court upheld the constitutionality of placing the burden of persuasion on the defendant when they argue an insanity defense in a criminal trial. This differed from previous federal common law establishments in Davis versus U.S., in which the court held that if the defense raised an insanity defense, the prosecution must prove sanity beyond a reasonable doubt. But Davis was not a United States constitutional ruling, so it only limited federal cases, not state cases. So basically, Oregon had a very high burden on defense. The insanity can be proved beyond reasonable doubt. So this kind of did the thing to where the defendant was convicted of killing a 15-year-old girl in Monmouth County. After being arrested for auto theft, the defendant asked for a homicide officer, verbally confessed to the murder, took the police to the scene of the crime, and signed a written confession.
And then pleaded that he was insane.
And shouldn't have to do time.
But you still end up in a mental hospital, though, right? If you plead insane.
If that's where the level of the mental incompetency is. Usually they put them in a home that they can't get out of, but...
Yeah, I was like, they don't just like send you home and be like, sorry for charging you for all this.
Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, you're just a crazy guy. We'll let you go. Yeah.
Here's an ankle bracelet,
It's this one here.
It's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He tried to get out of jail time. He's like, I'm just going to go sit in a mental hospital for a while and wait out my sentence.
Right. I said I had two more. I have to do one more here. This is another one I'm going to sneak in here. This one next. Okay, let's do that. Previous one.
Sneak it in.
Leland was from Wikipedia. This next one here is from OregonLive.com by Douglas Perry from the Oregonian. This is a true story. Christian Longo and his family suddenly decamped from their Ohio home in December of 2001 and headed west. While in Oregon, the 27-year-old strangled his wife and then their 2-year-old daughter.
Ew.
Loaded them in suitcases and dumped them in a marina in Waldport. He then tied rock-filled pillowcases to the legs of his two other younger children and threw them alive off the bridge. They both died. He didn't want his wife to find out that his business was failing. Discovery of the 4 bodies in Waldport launched a massive manhunt for Longo, that's his name, landing him on the FBI's most wanted list. The killer was in Mexico, where he took on the identity of a disgraced journalist named Michael Finkel. Apparently, Longo could offer a spot-on impression of the former New York Times reporter.
What?
Even Finkel said that he did a better impression of me than I could do it myself. Longo was caught and returned to Oregon. A jury convicted him of murder in 2004, and he's now on death row at the Oregon State Penitentiary.
Oh, wow.
James Franco played him in a 2015 movie called True Story.
Huh.
That was based off, so that was based off that. Now, this is the one that I got, and I can't believe how this played out. This got some twists and turns. This is a 1954 death of a teenage babysitter led to a series of murder trials and an enduring Portland mystery. A road crew outside Washugo found a 16-year-old girl's body on February 27, 1954. The Lincoln High School student was wrapped in 2 blankets and had been tied up with a rope. Her name was Diane Hanks, and her death shocked Portland. The subsequent murder case that played out in public proved even more shocking. Before the girl's body was even discovered, police arrested Sherry Fong and her husband Wayne, the Fongs. Diane had babysat the couple's 2 young children on Wednesday, January 6th, the night before her disappearance. Through trials, appeals, and retrials of the Fongs over the next 4 years, Portlanders heard about heroin and prostitution, violence, and the luring danger of Chinatown, and the good-looking young soldier who loved a dead girl. The Oregonian and the Oregon Journal, I know,
Wait, you paused.
I had to pause because it's just like, where does this, I couldn't imagine where this is going to go. Readers learned that Diane was almost 6 feet tall and was shy about her height. They also discovered that the pretty blonde teen had a baby out of wedlock and had tried marijuana.
What in the heck?
I love that she tried marijuana, and that makes her already, she's like, oh, she's a bad person. She's a no-no.
Oh, 1950s.
Yeah, how dare she?
Heads.
Right? All this was sensational enough that editors at the Oregonian pulled star reporter Wallace Turner off a blockbuster investigation into links between the mob, unscrupulous union leaders, and government officials. Prosecutors and the press blamed Wayne and Sherry Fong for Diane's moral corruption, which only made sense. Wayne was Chinese and Sherry was white. At the time, an interracial couple was by definition suspicious. 1954, interracial couple, Portland, Oregon, you're suspicious. And to be sure, Wayne was already a known drug dealer, having pleaded guilty to a narcotics charge in 1948.
That's not suspicious, though.
Deputy District Attorney Howard Longran described Diane Hanks as a very ordinary teenage girl until she met the Fongs. The police quickly honed in on Sherry, the newspapers frequently referred to her nickname as an alias, believing she was more likely to crack than her husband. In February, after Diane's body had been found, detectives questioned Sherry for 16 hours, refusing to allow her to rest. On May 3rd, according to the Fongs' defense attorney, Irvin Goldman, detectives conscripted a trusted friend of Sherry's to drug her and take her to a hotel. So police paid somebody, a friend of Sherry's, the wife, to drug her and take her to a hotel so they can get her to talk. Sherry said, I remember nothing about the ride except occasionally I could see neon lights flash by. When I arrived at the motel, I was thoroughly confused and I put my head under the cold water faucet in an effort to clear my mind. Detectives supposedly eavesdropped from an adjacent room. The friend tried to get her to confess to killing Diane. She never confessed. The best part is that Captain William D. Brown called Sherry's claim that the police had drugged her ridiculous. That's it.
Right. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Not
credible.
Right. Despite the police efforts, Monomoth County District Attorney John McCourt wasn't keen on trying to Fongs for murder. The couple had no obvious motive, and by all accounts, Diane and Sherry were close friends. So the wife and the babysitter were friends. Plus, it wasn't even clear that the teen had been murdered. She had probably died from apparently
she drug overdosed.
She had died from drug poisoning. And one theory was that she had overdosed while at the Fongs' home, and the couple, in a panic, dumped her body rather than calling the police.
I mean,
Wayne and Sherry, both 23, sat stoically during the trial. The state argued that the Fongs murdered Diane because she knew about Wayne's drug dealing activities. Various stunning, mostly unproven revelations dribbled out in court and the press. Number 1, Sherry told a bartender that her girlfriend committed suicide. She told police that Diane had contributed perhaps 75% to her own death. Diane called her mother from the Fongs' house the last night she was known to be alive and said they were having a party and they were going to have dinner, and she said she was high.
Oh, why you admit that? I mean, why?
Don't say it on the phone.
I mean, why can't you? I'm going to a party, having dinner.
Stop there.
By the way,
I
smoked 1950 marijuana.
Yeah, that was Right, Kenneth Martin, the father of Diane's baby, threatened to kill Diane if she saw her with another boy.
What in the world is going on with the Fongs?
Diane was sick and unhappy about Martin, who she feared was losing interest in her. If she stands me up again, I'll kill myself, she supposedly said. Martin later joined the army. He testified that he loved her. Sherry doted on and bought presents for Diane. They were like sisters, one of Diane's friends said. They used to borrow each other's clothes. Sherry was always trying to help Diane, especially during the girl's unexpected pregnancy. Sherry allegedly told the police informant that Diane was talking too much about the Fong's drug dealing. As a result, the Chinese narcotics syndicate had wanted to get rid of her, and because of her association with Diane, she wanted to save her and had offered to pay as high as $125,000 to get the syndicate off their neck.
This is like a...
It's this
like a
goofy stuff.
movie.
It's okay. Now get this. A Lincoln High classmate believed she spotted Diane on the downtown Portland corner the day after her disappearance.
Oh, weird.
Another classmate insisted she bumped into Diane at the downtown Meyer and Frank department store more than 2 weeks after she disappeared, and that they had said hello to each other. Prosecutors dismissed those girls' accounts, a defense attorney said, because they couldn't make their stories fit the facts they wanted to present. An undercover police officer on the case allegedly told an acquaintance that the Fongs were getting a dirty deal, that the cops were trying to pin the case on somebody so they could get rid of it. Wayne Fong pointed the finger at another couple, the Smalleys, alleged brothel proprietors who paid a mysterious call on Diane the night of her disappearance. The jury's first trial quickly found the Fongs guilty of first-degree murder and reportedly voted 10-2 for the couple to die in the gas chamber.
Oh, jeez.
But the judge set aside the verdict, stating that the prosecution's case, entirely circumstantial, offered no reputable showing of either malice or premeditation. That hardly ended the matter. The couple was tried again, this time separately. Wayne Fong's 2.5-week trial the next year featured more stunning accusations, including testimony that Wayne tried to have 2 states' witnesses killed. Again, the evidence of the murder was weak. The trial judge ultimately freed the Canton, China native through a direct verdict. Sherry's verdict did come, but the results wasn't the same as her husband's. This Texas-born woman, who was moved to Vancouver during World War II with her mother and 2 sisters, didn't have much luck playing to jurors' sympathies. After a mistrial, the state tried her for a 3rd time. She was convicted of second-degree murder on the 3rd trial. That still wasn't the end of it. The evidence against Sherry hadn't been any stronger than it had been against Wayne. In 1957, the Oregon Supreme Court overturned Sherry's conviction. She was finally acquitted later that year in yet another trial.
What in the world?
So, police kept a close eye on them, even though they were set free. In 1958, detectives arrested Wayne for dealing heroin, resulting in federal agents uncovering the biggest narcotic operation yet exposed on the West Coast.
Stand-up guy, Wayne.
Fong pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. He was paroled in 1970, returned to Portland, and took it where he left off, reportedly becoming the largest drug dealer in Chinatown. 3 years later, he was convicted of heroin and cocaine possession again.
You just go back to what you know?
He died in prison in 1976, apparently after falling in the shower. What a way to go.
No kidding, man.
Sherry Fong, of course, was not the young blonde victim in the murder case. She stayed out of trouble after Wayne went to prison and kept a low profile. She had been a part-time pre-med student in Portland State when Diane went missing, but was apparently never returned to her studies. In 1987, now called Sherry Lavelle Johnson, she agreed to probation for tampering with drug records. She died later that year and she was 56 when she died. The actual circumstances surrounding Diane Hawk's death were never officially determined.
But they didn't admit dumping her body?
No, that was just an accusation. That was another accusation.
So no one ever saw her dump. No one ever saw them like kill her and
not at all. That's why there was no evidence.
She was just, they were the last people to hang out with her.
She babysat him that night, and then she was reported missing the next day. Douglas Perry got the article for us from the Oregonian. I think I love it, and it was also on OregonLive.com.
Wild.
What a wild, you're right. It needs to be a movie.
That has a lot of details.
There was a crazy, that was edited down. Honestly, I edited about 7 pages out of some.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, that's my court cases. Now, before
that's my court.
Before you jump into yours, I am going to make a plea to our listeners. If there is one court case here in Roseburg, Oregon, we keep wanting to cover. This is, for the historical standpoint of it, the first week we started doing this podcast a couple years back, this is one of the first things I was told about. And it's called the Gallup School. There's a daycare here. There's 2 of them in Roseburg, Oregon, or in Douglas County, that did not go well. And yet the 2 people running them, or the 3, there's a husband, wife, and son. There's some religious stuff. There's some bad stuff that happened. They went to court. All 3, I think, got resolved. They didn't get any trouble, but there's a lot of victims. And we would love to interview somebody who knows anything about the Gallup School, could be closer. It's really hard to get information on that for sensitive reasons. And I would love to cover that in a podcast because there's nothing else out there about that except for some random news articles. Mm-hmm. So that's just, if any listeners want to be interviewed and talk about the Gallup School, we'd love to have you on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, we will keep identities
Yeah, we can keep your identity safe.
Right. We don't have to share your name or anything. And you can, it's something that Mark and I have talked about for a while. It's sometimes history can always be fun and easy to talk about, but sometimes stories need to be talked about, especially when we've brought it up just casually with people about podcast topics. Not a lot of people know what the Gallup School was, and even that it even existed, and even what happened. So there's even that story to even uncover for people that don't even know the tragedy and the things that people went through. I think it's an important subject to talk about, because even in today's world, it's same things happen over and over again. So
yeah.
But yeah, if you're familiar with the Gallup School and maybe you went there, maybe your folks work there or something like that, any relationship, just you can reach out to us, and whatever capacity you want to talk about, we figure it out and go from there. So we rather not solely base everything off Wikipedia and what websites tell us. We rather have firsthand account and word and right from people's I say a horse's mouth, but it's not the right term, right out of somebody's, what their experiences and everything. So,
yeah, well said.
All right. So
easy segue, right?
I wanted to go like dramatic, like, court cases, like murder, like that kind of what you were going with. But I figured, we'll yin and yang it, we'll offset it with some funnier stuff. So I literally Googled craziest things people sued over, and the amount of search results that came back, I narrowed it down to 10. I probably could have spent all morning looking this stuff up, and I just found it on like usatoday.com. So the first one I got was a man wants to legally change his age. This was in 2018. A 69-year-old Dutchman wanted to legally change his age in order to avoid ageism. He didn't want to get old.
I respect it.
Emil Radelband claimed he felt discriminated against because his real age was affecting his job prospects as well as his chances of success on Tinder. The judge explained.
There it is. There it is,
right.
Folks.
Yeah. The judge. I was like all for it until I saw that. I was like, all right. The judge explained that many rights and obligations are age-based, and that changing the legal age could cause many complications. The result was he lost. He did not win his case.
What's funny is that IMDb had a case about that, where the actors and actresses didn't want their age posted. So on IMDb, if you go there, there's some actors and actresses do not have their age posted.
Right, because they don't want that to negatively affect the casting chances.
Prospects.
Right, exactly.
Poor Emil.
Yeah. This 2017, this was a woman was shocked that jelly beans contain sugar. So sugar has a lot of different names, right? We've kind of learned about this over the last, 5 to 10 years. Documentaries come out. They have to label stuff a certain way, right? So it's understandable, but I don't know how you don't know. Jelly beans have sugar, right?
Don't you? Okay, but because even if you break it down, doesn't the jelly part of jelly have sugar?
That's
jelly.
I mean,
was she thinking that it was more the bean part? They were like whole beans, like they grew wild.
No idea. So it was this was a Californian woman who sued the jelly bean maker Jelly Belly for using the term evaporated cane juice instead of using the word sugar in its jelly beans food label. Jessica Gomez of San Bernardino County alleged fraud, claiming the company was misleading consumers about how much sugar the snack actually contained, even though the total grams of sugar per serving was clearly displayed. Case ended up being dismissed.
Can you imagine you work at Jelly Belly and you get that court case?
Oh my God, you get that come across your desk.
There's one guy who's never been sued. Like he's a one lawyer on the payroll. Right. Hey, man, we got one for you after 30 years, 100 years being in business.
Yeah. And you wouldn't even know where to begin with that.
The angle of I get what you mean. So maybe like they're trying to hide how much sugar.
I can see a little bit about it, but
man, it's not enough for a court case.
Right.
Just don't eat them.
Suing it. I feel like maybe she just ate too many of them, had a stomach ache, and was just pissed.
Like guilt.
Right.
It's like
just pissed.
Don't ever read like the side of an ice cream carton after you've eaten it. Yeah. Because that'll give you like you're like, oh, I'm suing somebody. Because
this next one is just. I mean, people have to be bored. They just have to be bored.
The amount of paperwork to do any lawsuit.
It's crazy to me. Yeah. So this This gentleman in 2016 decided his Subway footlong was not a footlong. It started in 2013 when a teenager, he measured his Subway footlong sandwich. It actually only turned out to be 11 inches.
Good for him.
An
Good for
inch
him.
too short. Fast forward about 3 years, and the company was settling a class action lawsuit in court,
Yes.
promising to make it 12 inches. The only people to benefit from the lawsuit were the attorneys who were about to receive $520,000 in fees.
Wow.
The judge agreed with the activist, an
Yeah.
activist,
Activist.
what the heck, and legal writer Theodore Frank that this was not fair and dismissed the settlement in the entire case.
Wow.
Case was settled. All right.
That's what it is. We got to be attorneys. Right? Yeah.
But who opens up a Subway footlong,
Yeah.
unwraps it like, man, I'm hungry. I'm going to eat this
Yeah.
meatball
Hold
sauce and be
on.
like,
Let's get the tape measure out.
I'm just going to say it right now. This young man probably smoked a little marijuana, and he's probably thinking a little too hard about.
Yeah. He goes, I feel like I only ate 11 inches today.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't want to, not throwing out accusations.
But if
here,
you paid for 12 inches and that's what it says, you know what? That's a whole inch,
Sometimes I get down to the little end of the bread and I don't finish the little
That's true.
crispy
Well, yeah.
part of the bread.
They don't put the veggies on there like they used to.
Yeah, I mean, you're really just eating the center and everything. I
Yeah.
mean, you're getting chips anyway, probably. I mean, you're really going to be hungry after your 11 inches of Subway and some chips because you get the combo and probably a cookie.
Is this like when they advertise food on TV and it was way better
Oh,
when
it
you go
always
get
looks
it?
so
You know what I
much
mean?
better.
Like, like the burgers are like huge and all of a sudden you go to like
right. And it's
somewhere
just terrible looking.
Yeah, terrible looking.
Right.
Yeah.
So this person in 2018, Biola Daniel and Aben Duran of New York and Trekella Perkins from Mississippi believed Tootsie Roll Industry Incorporated tricked people by underfilling Junior Mint boxes.
Get them.
They sued the company because more than a third of the mint boxes was empty. The judge who dismissed the case wrote in a 44-page decision that a reasonable customer can expect some empty space. The judge, case dismissed. They opened up that Junior Mint box. I love there's like 4 people involved. Do you think they went to like a mini mart? They sat outside the mini mart. Maybe there was 1 or 2 Junior Mint boxes involved.
Yeah.
They all were going to share it. There wasn't enough Junior Mint Junior Mints going around.
Somehow, right?
By the time the Junior Mints were done, they were expecting a lot more Junior Mints, and they were pissed. What, $1.49 for a Junior Mint box? $2.50? I guess depends where you live at. But
right.
I love how the judge. I should have looked a 44-page decision
right.
on that a reasonable customer can expect some empty space in your Junior Mint box. Could you imagine the judge getting that?
Oh yeah.
And having to like go home at night and tell his significant other,
Yeah.
This is what I have to.
Do you have a murder case today or something?
Tomorrow.
No. What about Junior Mints?
Junior Mints, right. Oh, yeah. You're going to do what? It's like a 44 page. I had to explain to these people.
This is going to make a podcast someday.
Oh, man. Yeah, right. Some schmoes are going to be reading about this. All right. This one is same price for a burger with and without cheese. 2018.
Ooh.
2 McDonald's customers from Florida sued the fast food chain for $5 million because they were made to pay for a quarter-pounder sandwich without cheese and the same price as a sandwich with cheese. The difference is about 30 cents. A judge dismissed the case with prejudice, which means they can't file that suit again.
Good for that. Good judge.
The basis for the dismissal was that the plaintiffs could not prove that the price had to pay cause any harm.
That's
The lawsuit was
wow.
submitted.
That judge think they didn't harm you. Look, if it's 30 cents, yeah.
Again, who's going to McDonald's and overthinking the price between a quarter pounder with or without cheese?
You know what's all I can think is though is that McDonald's only had the one option.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we want the one without cheese. And they go, same price. And she goes,
Right,
same price, whether cheese or without. We're going to charge you the same price.
And you're getting that pissed about it?
Man, they want their 30 cents.
I mean, way too much time on the hands.
Wow.
This one, husband sues wife over ugly baby. Yes.
No.
2012.
Oh.
Okay.
It's half his jeans.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Boy meets a pretty girl. Boy marries the girl. They have kids. One similar tale did not have such a happy ending. Jin Fang from China saw his newborn daughter, who he said was incredibly ugly. It did not look like either parent. Why you look at me like he accused his wife of cheating on him. At that point, she admitted she had several plastic surgeries before they had met. He sued on the grounds of false pretenses, claiming she misled him by hiding her cosmetic history. He actually won the case, and his wife was made to pay him more than $120,000. What?
Here's the deal. I feel so bad for the kid in this, because you imagine you
Right.
grow up and you're
Right,
like,
you
hey,
find out
just so
about
you know,
that.
you were so ugly. There's a
Right.
lawsuit about
Or
it.
you end up being like a lawyer, and they like reference that case back to like
Yes.
the time where that guy
That's
sued.
a terrible case.
She
And he won?
right. She didn't disclose she had some cosmetic surgery.
I mean, jeez Louise.
he was expecting it to look like the trophy wife. I don't know. This one I can relate to a little bit here. Drinking beer does not make fantasies come true, Mark. 1993. Beer commercials often feature beaches, good-looking men and women. They're having fun. They're playing volleyball on the beach, hanging out with celebrities. Most people understand this is not real. No, Richard Overton, in 1993, he sued Anheuser-Busch for $10,000 for false advertising. He claimed the beer ad caused him emotional distress, mental injury, and financial loss. Bro, so you're
guy
pissed
drank too
about
much.
drinking the
Yeah,
beer,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
you're going to
good call.
claim financial loss.
Oh,
Overton
man.
said the company's ad showed beer's ability to enable scenic tropical settings and beautiful women and engage in unrestricted merriment. When this was actually not the case, he lost the suit.
Unrestricted merriment now makes my list of two-word combinations
Amazing.
I have on my phone. I'm at it right
Merriment.
now. Unrestrected merriment. That's just
That's how I feel when I go to Walmart. Unrestricted merriment.
This is such a good, to my list.
This is in 2006. Man sues Michael Jordan for looking too much like him. I can't even believe some
He
of these
sued
are
Michael Jordan because wow.
I can't even believe that these are actual cases. So many people would be happy if they looked like a celebrity, unless the celebrity was as famous as Michael Jordan. Alan Ray Heckard from Portland, Oregon, of course, sued the basketball legend and Nike for promoting Jordan for more than $800 million.
Get him.
He claims he had been confused for Jordan every day in the last 15 years and that it caused him permanent injury and emotional pain and suffering. Heckard actually later dropped the charges without giving a reason. He just like, all right, I give up. You know what? Maybe not. Maybe looking like Michael Jordan's not such a bad thing.
I was gonna say, like, he's not playing the right angle. Like, you can make a career being a lookalike,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
He's going about the wrong way here.
You can show up to basketball parks. You got to step up your basketball game a little bit. But I mean, maybe he can like play down like you got like a pulled hamstring or something.
Yeah,
like my ankle hurts. I'm not
day.
as good as Jordan today.
I bet he dropped it when some girl's like, "Hey, you look like Michael Jordan. You want to hook up?" And he's like, "Drop my case."
Yeah, you ever heard about a lawsuit recently? Have you? No,
Exactly,
okay,
right?
All right.
What an odd thing, but like he goes after Jordan.
And Nike, yeah, strange. This one I respect. Man sues himself for $5 million.
Get him.
1995. Prison inmate Robert Lee Brock is nothing but creative. Brock was serving time for breaking and entering at the Indian Creek Correctional Center in Virginia. He sued himself for $5 million, claiming that he violated his religious beliefs and got himself arrested. And since he has no income because he's in jail, Brock asked the state to pay as he was the ward of the state.
I love it.
He was trying to sue himself
and make the state pay.
Because he was saying that I caused myself injury.
Yeah.
I'm the reason why I'm in here. I'm at fault. Somebody needs to pay.
You're a citizen and ward of the state. Yeah. It makes, I get it.
The judge dismissed the case.
I don't know
as you can imagine. And last one, the city of Batman.
Here we go.
This is true. 2008. There is a name of an oil producing city in southeastern Turkey named Gotham.
Yeah.
They said they would sue Warner Brothers and the movie director Christopher Nolan for using the name of the Turkish city without permission for the film. The Dark Knight's The city mayor, I can't pronounce his name, wanted compensation from the movie's royalty, claiming that the movie's success had negative psychological effects on the city's residents and hurt local businesses trying to register in other countries. The lawsuit actually was never ended up being filed. Yeah, they read like their own legal paperwork and were like, you know what? This actually sounds stupider than it is.
That's wild.
Oh my gosh. I love that some of those are like just out of the United States because apparently we're not the only crazy people,
man,
on the same realm of like random things that people are suing over.
Yes.
This is weird laws.
Yes.
They had one for every state. I didn't want to shoot off
love the weird
50
laws.
of them.
Yeah.
So I just kind of found some. Yeah, I just went with the first ones I saw here. So in Alabama, you can't dress up as a priest for Halloween.
Praise Jesus.
In fact, it's not just during Halloween. In Alabama, dressing up as or pretending to be a priest, nun, rabbi, or other members of the clergy is illegal. If arrested, you'll be guilty of the misdemeanor, and when convicted, you'll be fined for $500 or confinement in the county jail for up to a year.
But why?
How do you know they're dressing up?
Right. I got so many questions about this. Right. I want to know the backstory because I feel like some guy was like some pastor was like, I'm tired of people dressing up.
Yeah.
And trying to pass them off.
Yeah. Or maybe somebody like actually dressed up as one.
Yeah.
And then
performed the wedding ceremony.
Showed up and just started wreaking havoc.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
I love it.
Dear baby Jesus. In Alaska, you can't wake a sleeping bear to take a selfie. Most people probably wouldn't do that anyway, but as it turns out, tourists were visiting the bear's den during their hibernation period and disturbing the animal's sleep schedule, all for a selfie. While you can't get jail time, you might be penalized with a fine. I don't know who's bothering.
That's just it. That's such a
who's bothering animals.
Where does that lack of like let the animal be? That's amazing. And then of course the bear mauls them. They're like, oh, sad, tragic today. Well, a bear mauled somebody.
Right.
But did you wake them up for a selfie? That bear doesn't know what a selfie is. He doesn't know why there's flash photography going on.
Literally, the DNA makeup of the bear is to hibernate.
Yes.
For winter, and you got these idiots.
I'm okay with this. I'm really okay with this.
Mm-hmm. In Connecticut, the pickles must bounce. In 1948, two pickle packers, pickle peppers, named Sidney Sparrer and Moses Dexler, were arrested for selling pickles unfit for human consumption. Connecticut's Food and Drug Commissioner at the time, Frederick Holcomb, proclaimed that a real pickle should bounce when dropped from the height of 1 foot, leading to a new state ordinance, Mark.
1 foot? 1 foot.
So if you next time you got a pickle, you measure a foot and see if it bounces. And who's selling pickles for unfit for human consumption? What the heck is an unfit pickle?
So much had to happen to get to that level.
In 1948. What are you doing?
This is the part when aliens look down on our history. Yeah. This is going to be the one they're going to skip this podcast right here. The story said this.
This is it. Yeah, I know they were dumb.
That's wild.
I think I've heard this one before, but in Georgia, there's no eating chicken with tableware.
Yeah.
In Gainesville, Georgia, it's illegal to eat fried chicken with anything other than your hands, which I understand.
Well, okay.
In 1968, ordinance was put in place as a public relations stunt to celebrate Gainesville as the poultry capital of the world. A 91-year-old woman was arrested in 2009 for breaking this rule while celebrating her birthday at a local eatery. Let that sink in. Mississippi, you'll be fined $100 for cursing in public. Anyone who is swearing, using vulgar, indecent language, or is drunk in any public place in the presence of two or more individuals, you will be arrested. When convicted, you'll pay $100 or in prison and jail for 30 days. So if you're by yourself, it's okay. But two or more individuals, you can't be swearing or nothing.
That makes sense.
I only got a few more here. In Montana, okay, you might have heard this term. You can't play Folf at night.
Yeah, disc golf, yeah.
Disc golf, right.
Yeah, Frolfing, yeah.
So the game of Folf, Frisbee golf, is played following the same rules as golf, blah, blah, blah. But in Montana, you can't. Apparently, it's a popular sport in Montana.
Wow.
So according to the municipal authorities in Helena, they stepped into control where and when the game is played through the edict that states no person shall play or engage in the game of Folf or throwing a disc at nighttime in any area within the business improvement district that has not been sanctioned as a designated golf course by the city.
You know they make glow discs now. There's actually discs that glow in the dark. They have glow in the disc.
Someone should tell Montana.
My goodness, I'm shocked.
A couple more here. Nebraska, you can't be ugly in public.
Then that lady,
yeah,
can't
right.
bring her baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh boy.
This strange law is from the city of Lincoln. It was enacted in 1989, and the state says that any person who is diseased, maimed, mutilated, or in any way informed as to be unsightly or disgusting, object, improper person to be allowed in or on the streets, highways, thoroughfares, or public places in the city shall not therein or thereon expose himself herself to public view under the penalty of a fine of $1 for each offense.
Can't be.
You can't look like Sloth from the Goonies and show up at McDonald's or something. But I mean,
who made this?
You got
law?
$1 for each offense.
Somebody very opinionated made this law. That's wild. That's law.
But I mean, look, if you're,
what if you have no other way to get out of it?
If you're unsightly, there's only $1. I mean, you could be handsome the rest of the way.
But
and
who
maybe,
makes a determination? Like,
That's
I
a
would
great
pretend
question.
to have like my arm.
It's a checklist the cops have, probably.
Right? Jesus.
All right, so I'm going to finish off here with Oregon. Okay, only one person is allowed in the restroom in Oregon. In Portland, it is illegal for more than one person to occupy any restroom that is located in a public building or public property, unless one of those persons is assisting a handicapped person, a child under the age of 12, or an elderly person, or person is in need of assistance.
I've broken that law.
I think most women have broken that law.
That's
I'm putting it out there. You can yell at me, whatever.
The only one I don't believe this was the thing. Did you know? Well, some sources. Okay, so Wisconsin has a law. This is true.
I found so many random ones. Yeah.
Requires that apple pie has to be served with a slice of cheese.
Of course, it's Wisconsin. Everything's served with a slice of cheese. I think they throw like the newspaper every day, and there's like a slice of cheese in the middle of it.
But now I want to try apple pie with a slice of cheese.
It's probably delicious. You got this sweet.
In this, right? The savory and the saltiness from the cheese. Right. I'm gonna try it one of these days.
It's probably just cheddar, right?
You gotta go cheddar. Probably like a white cheddar with apple.
Something. Oh yes, white cheddar with the apple.
My mouth is now watering.
Oh my gosh, that's probably good.
But do you do a warm pie or do you do room temp? I gotta look this up because I don't want to be weird and try both.
That's a stumper.
Yeah. This is
if it's gonna warm, though, is it gonna melt the cheese though? You do go cold.
I think you go cold cheese, warm pie. Because
you go cold cheese, warm pie.
So now you get not only the sweet salty, you get the hot cold.
Right.
That would be a heck of a bite of food.
And do you go even weirder with a side of vanilla ice cream on the side?
Only if the vanilla ice cream's got a little bacon in it.
Oh my gosh.
Put a little honey, drizzle it on there. Might as well get half the kitchen in there.
Caramel?
With cheese? That's crazy. I'm upset now.
Jeez, that's crazy. All right. Some dad jokes here.
Yes.
I tried to sue the airport for misplacing my luggage. I lost the case.
Sorry. That's bitch.
I figured I had to read that one. What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K?
I don't know.
HDMI. My son tied his first tie today. I looked at him and told him, "Not bad, son. Not bad, son."
What?
What's red and bad for your teeth?
Getting punched?
A brick.
That's pretty good. That makes sense.
I don't tell dad jokes often, but when I do, he laughs.
Yeah. That's good.
Oh man, how do you make holy water? You just boil the hell out of it.
That's one of my favorites.
I'm thinking about removing my spine. I feel like it's only holding me back.
That's pretty good.
I'll do a couple more here. Can February, March? No, but April, May.
That's true. That's true. I love that.
All right, one more. Oh, man. How do trees get online? How do trees get online?
I don't know.
They just log in.
Wow.
All right.
Elle, where can people reach us?
Well, let's talk about two questions real quick before we
got two questions
before we tell people again where they can find this.
I'll ask you first, Elle. What is something that you feel that you would sue over?
I'm gonna go on the line with the Junior Mints box, but I'm gonna go potato chips because if I'm paying premium price for a bag of Frito-Lays or Doritos, don't half fill those chips, sir. At least go a little closer to the top. And now I get for packaging and probably for whatever other purposes. Yeah. But I don't know how many times in my life I've been disappointed in opening up a bag.
You have to buy 2 bags of potato chips to make one.
I don't think I'll ever get over it. That would be my lawsuit. And another thing that really bothers me is
Grind your gears.
if you're buying, how many hot dogs come in a hot dog basket?
Is this the old? Okay, I know what you're talking about.
I'm
Hot
not
dogs
sure it's gonna
are
be-
is it 8 or 10, and then buns are like
6, right?
Yes, yeah.
But you can buy like buns at 8, and then hot dogs are like even. It never
would you-
balances
why
each
would you gotta
other.
make it balance?
You either have more buns or more hot dogs.
Yeah. You could tell that whoever making hot dog
It's the
packaging
chicken or the egg
didn't
thing.
talk to the bun guy,
Right.
And the
Two
bun guy
different
just winged
departments.
it. He's like, yeah. He goes, how many think? I don't know, 6 or 8, 10. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pick a number.
Right. What's yours?
I would sue over. It's funny because he talked about disc golf. I've recently gotten back into disc golfing because I'm gonna be a doubles partner with somebody here in June at Whistler's. And this is my new law: is that there's a courtesy thing you do when you're disc golfing. You find someone's lost disc. Okay, so someone threw their disc. Once again, I don't know they got too high and forgot where they threw it. I don't know the logistics of why they lost their disc. I've now seen a number of discs. Okay, and my favorite is when they're bright orange. Like,
Aren't they expensive?
They can be. They can definitely be expensive. And there's even ones they don't make anymore that are rare that they don't make anymore. They could be hundreds of dollars. Okay. But the courtesy thing is in disc golf is that people write their phone numbers on there and you call the person and say, hey, how can I get this disc to
Sure.
you? Sometimes I'll often
Sure.
pay for shipping, right? Twice now. I found a disc, got the person's address, mailed it to them. And I get back a return to sender saying that they don't have a mailbox or there's no one at this address. And then the person texts me and says, hey, man, I can't wait for my disc.
Oh, no.
Dude, I emailed, I
sent
texted you. It was at the post office waiting. You don't have a mailbox. I put way too much effort and time in this now.
Yeah.
The karma I was going to have.
No more.
And the
No
best,
more.
it just doesn't.
Just leave them out there.
So we're going to sue for people who ask for stuff to be mailed to them but don't have a mailbox.
Yep. Get a mailbox.
Shut it down.
Yep.
Done with it.
Second question.
Yes.
I don't even remember what I was.
Favorite spread on toast.
Favorite spread on toast.
Yes. Do you have a favorite?
Every morning, I'm boring. Probably about 97% of my week, my breakfast is either toast or Costco sells like this raisin cinnamon bread.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I put peanut butter on it.
Really? That's actually a very healthy snack. Very nice.
I like peanut butter and honey on my toast. But I'll do a little jam if I'm out like at a breakfast spot or something like that.
Feeling
But I
frisky?
just feel frisky. Right? I just like peanut butter.
Peanut butter is good.
That's one of my favorite spreads.
See, I'm a traditional butter / honey butter.
Honey butter.
Honey butter. Yes. I'm all about the honey butter. It's funny you said honey too.
Is it sweet?
It's just everything you want. Once again, it's got the little sweetness and the but if I gotta do butter, I'm a butter snob now. I'm an adult. So I get to decide what type of butter I buy. So I'm a very Brummel and Brown is my go-to butter. I like it better than a country crock. I like it better than anything you can get on a stick.
I didn't realize that there was butter snobs.
There are butter snobs, and I'm one of those people now. So if it's not Brummel and Brown, I just won't do it. It's like, why would you do something else? Brown. It pisses me off when we don't buy it.
Yeah.
There's always some in my fridge.
Yeah.
There you go. There's my answer.
I'm gonna have to look for that. Okay, that was a good episode.
It was.
That was a lot of stuff.
Where people can find us, the one that always shocks people is Spotify. A lot of people are on Spotify. And they did not realize that we're on there.
You can literally Google us and podcast pops up. Yeah, we're on every platform for podcasts. Every one of them.
Audible. We're on Audible.
Audible. You can tell your Alexa to play the Oregon Files podcast. And I'm just going to plug it again. The Oregon Files podcast.com. Go out, buy a sweatshirt, buy t-shirts, link to the episodes, link to the Instagram. And if you want to get a hold of the show, if you have a favorite spread, if you have random dad jokes, or if you have comments on funny things you've heard people been sued over, or anything we talked about today, or any past episodes, and you want to comment on, or anything you want to yell at us for, let us know. And you can email us, OregonFilesPodcast@yahoo.com. And 51 episodes down here, and appreciate everyone listening.
Thank you guys. Cheers.